We bring in former Undersecretary of Commerce for International Trade and former Bank of America Merrill Lynch Executive Vice Chairman of Investments, Stefan Selig. Stefan, give me a guess on what he will announce on Wednesday.
Boy, who knows, Liz? I don't think there will be more corporate deals, which, as you've said, really were a bit of a yawn. They really weren't breaking any new ground. What the president hopefully will start to do is address the fundamental issues about the ability for American companies to effectively compete in China. And so hopefully it will be much more expansive. It won't be something that will fundamentally address the deficit, which, as you know, he's been fixated on, because that is not what can be addressed by trade remedies. That fundamentally is a function of savings and investment in the country.
Well, I actually got excited by the one that said that China would invest in West Virginia's liquid natural gas and a whole host of power generating opportunities. But that one turned out to be, while kind of a new announcement, again, non-binding. And for people who aren't really sure what that means, give us a sense of the definition, because to me it looks like it's like not a contract. It's just sort of a promise in a memorandum.
It's not even a promise. It's a letter of intent or an expression of interest, which basically means we will study it. So in maybe common parlance, it's we're going out on dates, we're not getting married. And in fact, you know, there's been a lot of discussion currently about restrictions about Chinese investment in the United States. So we'll see actually how far that goes.
Okay. What did the president do that actually has moved the needle on trade when it comes to deals with all of these Asian nations, most of whom we have a huge deficit with, meaning they get the good end of the trade deal?
Well, they get the good end of the trade deal, but so do we. In fact, all trade ultimately balances because we are buying a lot from China, but they are buying our bonds.
But can you define ultimately? Because as long as I've been covering business news, we've had a huge trade deficit with China.
And getting worse. And getting worse.
So does this mean I'm going to be dead by the time it balances out? I mean, I do applaud the president for at least trying to make it fairer in some way, shape, or form.
Well, but what we should be doing, Liz, is not focusing on the trade deficit. What we should be doing is focusing on making free trade fair trade and allowing American companies to successfully invest in China and having rules of the road that treat our companies fairly, as opposed to fixating on this one number.
Okay, I agree, because I think that, too, is what President Trump has talked about, where he said, why does every U.S. company that comes into China have to have a partner? It's not fair. So you say that it's almost less tangible.
It's about market access. Mm-hmm. It's about protecting our intellectual property. It's not about the trade deficit per se. And the president has to get away from this because he is not going to be able to address it unilaterally. But he is and potentially will address some of the fundamental unfairness that exists for U.S. companies to do business in China.
Last question. Did he make a mistake by getting us out of the TPP?
It's a huge mistake, and it's not even a commercial. It's not even just a huge commercial mistake. It's 25% of global GDP, but it also reflects our ability to have influence in the region. And this region is one of the largest and fastest growing regions in the world. And I remember when Ash Carter, our former defense secretary, commented on this. He said, I would rather have TPP than another aircraft carrier. So the implications for TPP are much broader than just for American business. They're about our diplomatic and strategic influence in this region going forward.
Good to see you, Stefan.
Thank you, Liz.
We got to get it more balanced, though. I know we both agree on that. Stefan Selig, good to see you.